Welcome back, Short Kings. If you played or tried to play your PlayStation this weekend, you'd know the PlayStation Network was down for almost a whole day. Sony apologized and offered an extra 5 days to all PS Plus members. But is Sony's compensation for the setback generous, or is it a nefarious plot to suck more money out of PlayStation Plus subscribers? What? That's a wild accusation. How is an extra 5 days a bad thing? You see, the promise of an extra 5 days, free on the house for PlayStation Plus service, appears helpful and more than fair on the surface. But what I don't like about it is the transparency. Will we be able to refuse this offer? Why would we want to refuse an extra 5 days? That seems good. Okay, fine. I'll get to the point already. Every year in late November, I put out a video on how to claim the Black Friday discount for current PlayStation Plus subscribers. A few years ago, everyone had access to the 30% discount, but as of 2 years ago, this discount was only offered to new members, and returning members were left in the dust. So the lesson learned in these videos I made was that if your PlayStation Plus subscription expires before the Black Friday week, then you're technically not a member anymore and can have access to this discount because they will treat you like a new member. It has worked every single time, which brings us to the unwanted 5 days. So if your subscription, for example, ended on November 27th because you bought PlayStation Plus during a Black Friday week, then those extra 5 days would put your new expiry date into December, potentially kicking you out of the eligibility criteria. So now you have two options: buy it at full price or wait until they do a sale again, and go without PlayStation Plus for who knows how many months. The outage that happened this weekend left millions of gamers unable to access online services, including digital games and multiplayer features. But we shouldn't be charged an extra 30% annually for your problem. That shouldn't be the solution. So as of right now, the changes haven't been implemented and my expiry date seems normal. But I really hope that we get the option to cancel that 5 days extension, because if they are forced on us, that's a huge fine for a problem you started. So in Canada, for example, PS Plus Premium is almost $200. So that's a $60 fine repackaged as a generous apology. To put that into perspective, I, in Canada, used to pay $60 per year for PS Plus as a whole. That's how far we've come. So is Sony trying to lock us out sneakily out of the only attractive pricing window they offer the entire year? By subtly manipulating subscription expiry dates, Sony is finding a way to profit from preventing, on purpose or not, millions of users from accessing this once-a-year price reduction. So let's back up for a second and examine how we got into this mess and look at the broader picture. So for a lot of us, Saturday is our biggest gaming day and the day that I drop a video in the morning to get you ready. So subscribe for more recommendations. For those that find less and less leisure time these days, this Saturday's outage was a big gut punch. An entire day of entertainment and gaming was derailed. Unable to log in, every other digital service was locked out as well. It happened to me and I thought, fine, I can't play this game because it requires online, but at least I can find a new game that I can play offline until this thing blows over. So I went to download a new game from the catalog and surprise, PS Extra is down, obviously. So I wasn't able to download a new game. I kind of figured that I'd be locked out of multiplayer games and that's fine, but a lot of games these days require a PSN login to access, even if they're a solo adventure game. The outage even blocked YouTube. I tried to watch YouTube on my PlayStation. Nope, not logged into PSN. A whole day of relaxation ruined. This incident underscores a much bigger concern that gets worse and worse year after year in the digital gaming ecosystem. We, as digital consumers, are at the mercy of network stability, with little to no recourse when things fail. What was once a straightforward gaming and entertainment platform has become a complex network of digital rights management that can make the most expensive console you've ever purchased inoperable and useless, especially if you're like me and made the mistake of buying the digital version. There was a time when gaming was so beautifully simple. You'd buy a game, open the case, there was a disc, insert disc, and bam, press start. You were immediately thrust in this virtual world. No internet connection required, no login screens, no network verification, no installation, no updating, just simple. Press power and you're in immediately. In the era of PS1, N64, and even the original Xbox, a game was a self-contained experience. If you wanted to play Super Mario 64, you just put the cartridge in and the game loaded, with no loading screen, no patches, no day one updates, no mandatory online registration, no EA account, no Ubisoft account, just no accounts. You own a console, you own a game. Put the two together and it works. The entire game was right there too, playable from the moment you pressed the start button. No, the power button. As far as multiplayer goes, it meant sitting next to your friend on a couch, both with controllers in hand, splitting a screen and engaging in a direct and meaningful competition or a cooperative experience. Speaking of which, if you want to see the best couch co-op games to play with your player too, see the last video I just dropped. Couch co-op, split screen, no headset, no online lobbies, just pure unfiltered gaming, the way it was meant to be played. Game preservation was simple too. Those physical copies lasted for years, and some of them can still be played since they don't need servers or maintenance. You could play them forever. Think about that for a second. Games from 25, 30, some almost 40 years ago can still be played if you have the original equipment, whereas recent games have disappeared into the void, never to be experienced again because the servers got shut down. Sure, a scratched disc could ruin your game, but finding a replacement at a used game store only costs you like a few dollars. If you took care of your games, they lasted as long as you. Today's digital gaming ecosystem has brought us so much convenience. Don't get me wrong. I've played like 150 games since buying the PS5, and I haven't stepped foot in a gaming store in 2 years. But along with that convenience, it has transformed gaming from a product into a service. Complex authentication systems and network dependencies have replaced that vintage plug-and-play simplicity that defined and preserved the medium for decades. And this recent PlayStation Network outage reminds us just how fragile the entire system is. Just a little network hiccup can render an entire library of purchased games temporarily or sometimes even permanently unplayable. These changes represent more than a technological shift. It symbolizes the loss of an era, when a game was simply just a game, when a game required just the console and the disc. This outage was like a one-time thing, but imagine all the games you have in your library and what would happen to them if someone hacked your system or you forgot your password. Like, imagine how insane that dilemma is, trying to explain it to a kid from the late 90s or early 2000s. Try explaining to that kid or teen that his bookshelf of 100 games will be unplayable if he can't remember the password he made when he created his account. Anyways, thanks for watching. Did the outage affect you, or did you not even notice? Will the extra 5 days really screw you over, or do you not buy on Black Friday? If you're an old head, here's a great question. Do you have more physical games than what is currently in your PS5 digital library? This outage should have brought us some perspective as we realize how few physical and reliable titles we actually own. Let me know below in the comments. Until next time, be a friend, and I'll see you again.